Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jules, and I am the fantasy MMA guy. Hey, we'll work on the intro and all that stuff. This is the first one. We'll see. Anyway, what I want to break down is Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Max Halloway. Yeah, we all didn't get the matchup we wanted. Tony Ferguson versus Khabib. Trust me, I did like hours of research, and to find out this fight fell out kind of pissed me off. But hey, it's a pretty good consolation prize, right? So let's check it out. Max Halloway, defending featherweight champion versus Khabib Nurmagomedov, possibly the most dominant wrestler in MMA. I mean, nobody can stop this guy. He's literally like a bear. He wrestled bears when he's a kid, and he has evolved to the form of being a fully fledged freaking bear. This guy will bear hug you to death till you give up. But on the other side, we got the quick, well-balanced, fighter, Max Halloway. He's got the quick hands. Maybe I wouldn't say he has that knockout power, but he has that precision that leads to knockout power, which in my opinion sometimes is more deadly than a power fighter. I mean, look at Conor McGregor. He just has that precision, that speed, that timing. That's what knocks people out. That's what I like about Max Halloway, and that's honestly what I think gives him his best chance in this matchup. So, let's go check out some stats. Stats. They're always fun, right? Breaking down numbers, counting, number crunching, right? Not necessarily, but they do help. So let's break down these numbers. Now keep in consideration that numbers do not dictate the fight. Numbers can only give you a general, conception of what might happen. Give you a little statistic of their takedowns and all that stuff. But really, it's all about what you see. Is how I usually grade it off, at least. So let's break it down to, let's see. Max Halloway is coming at 26 years old to Khabib Nurmagomedov's 29 years old. And I'm not sure yet. I just started this channel, so I might have some stats right here. So you might not even see me waving my hand. Who knows? We'll get it down, okay? Anyway, Max Holloway's got a 1-inch reach advantage. He's coming in at 5'11", while Khabib is at 5'10". He also has a 1-inch reach advantage at 69 inches to Khabib's 70. He boasts a 19-3 record to Khabib's 25-0, undefeated in the UFC. And then Max Halloway only been defeated. I say Dennis Bermudez. Conor McGregor's the bigger one, but they were both about 5 years ago. He was a young fighter then, so we know he's a completely different fighter now, right? So I won't hold it against him for those two losses. We'll come back to the actual matchups in a little bit. So his fantasy points per fight is at 86.8, which is pretty good. He's finishing or, getting a decision. But then Khabib over here, we got at 108.4 fantasy points per fight, which is pretty damn good for an average. If my fighter gets 100 points in a fantasy fight, matchup, or whatever, I'll be pretty damn happy if he gets 100. I'll be pretty happy if he gets 80. So, both good stats. Now, when we come at the salary cap, Max Halloway is one of the biggest underdogs. He's got a salary cap of $7,100, which is going to be on the lower end. Those are the kind of people that you want to fill your roster with, especially if you're going to be picking a big favor. Like on this card, they have Khabib Magomed Sharipov. He's got like 3 names in his name, but he's one of the bigger favorites, and I actually watched a lot of his fights, and I think he's a pretty much guarantee to win, but we'll get to him later. I'm going to have a fight breakdown on his video and everything. Khabib Nurmagomedov is coming at $9,100, which is a pretty sizable salary cap. Now, is he worth that salary cap? Do we think that he is going to completely win and dominate this fight? Well, that's what we're going to figure out here, so let's check it out. Last 5 fights by these gentlemen. Okay, Max Halloway. Both of these men are on a 5-fight winning streak, at least from these 5 fights that I'm going back. So, last 5 fights for Max Halloway. Within 2017, December and June, he's got 2 third-round knockouts against Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo, we all know, has been one of the most dominant featherweight champions until who? Conor McGregor, the notorious one, knocked him out. So, we got to give him props. He knocked out the one dude that has only been beaten by Conor McGregor and, of course, Max Halloway twice. Could he be on the decline? We don't know. we'd have to see him fight some more people. But we do know that he has a good name under his belt. Okay, number 3, he's got Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis, a former champion, another guy that I would say is on the decline. Some may disagree with me. I think he is. When he first came into the league, everyone thought, yeah, Anthony Pettis, he's this crazy guy. He's got these kicks. But now everyone figured out you take him down and he can't kick you. So it's a pretty safe bet. I mean, Max Halloway didn't just take him down. He dominated him about every asset of the game. He got him in the stand-up too. He used that range. He's a good fighter. Ricardo Lamas, his 4th fight. Ricardo Lamas, now that matchup, he dominated. He dominated him from the first bell to the end. He dominated so much, he was having fun out there. Last round, I think it was last 30 seconds of the round, Max Halloway was winning, for sure to win. What does he do? He points his finger down at the canvas and says, let's do this, Ricardo. Let's get down. And they just bite onto the mouthpiece and they just fucking wing it, right? That's awesome. That's the kind of warrior spirit we love. This is why we love this man, Max Halloway. And then number 5, we got Jeremy Stephens. Jeremy Stephens, a unanimous decision against a guy that can put your lights out at any moment is a pretty good win, right? So we know Max Halloway, he's come to the competition, he's beat top people for sure. I mean, these are all former champion, number 1 contenders, hard-hitting guys. But what is the one thing that we haven't seen from Max Halloway? We haven't seen Max Halloway fight a wrestler. That's the one thing that kind of gives me questions, right? I mean, I checked back in his 12-fight win streak, he doesn't really have anyone that likes to wrestle, that is known for wrestling. So when we're looking at this matchup, I don't really have anything to go off of. Usually when I see a fighter that's fighting a dominant wrestler, I go back to see if he's fighting a wrestler or has he fought wrestlers, right? Max Halloway, literally the only guy that I could say that had a good wrestling game would be Dennis Bermudez, right? And I'm looking at this, I'm like hoping the Dennis Bermudez fight would show me some sense of his takedown defense. I think Dennis Bermudez shot like 2 or 3 times. First time he went for a single leg and Max Halloway, stayed on 1 foot, kept his posture. He got out of it, the first one, right? Then Dennis Bermudez went for another takedown, kind of like a double leg, but he did it more of like a chain one. And this is what you need to pay attention to is like Khabib doesn't just go for a straight double leg takedown. He doesn't just go for a straight single leg takedown. No, what makes Khabib so good as he does these combo takedowns, right? If he goes for a double leg, he's going to switch. He's going to try to turn quarter, switch to single leg. He's going to try to hook your leg. He's going to try to flop you, do a little judo toss. He has so many assets to take you down. He's really got unimaginable ways to take you down, right? But I can say in the one thing in this Bermudez fight is that Dennis Bermudez did one thing that Khabib does really well. Is once he initiates that first takedown, he turns it into a chain takedown, right? He'll go for the double leg, but then he'll hook your leg. And that's exactly what Dennis Bermudez did when he took down Max Halloway. Now, that could be, the Achilles heel to Max Halloway. It could be a takedown. We don't know because we haven't seen him fight enough wrestlers, right? So I'm not going to give it too much attention. Yes, it is something going to happen, but we got to keep in mind that this was back in 2013. So we've had 5 years. 5 years since Max Halloway was taken down by Dennis Bermudez, and actually he was taken down by Conor McGregor. That is what worries me a little more, that Conor McGregor took him down. But like I said, I'm not going to hold it against him because it was 5 years ago. He was one of the youngest fighters in the UFC. I'm sure he's improved his game, right? I'm not going to hold it against him. So, couldn't find really any wrestlers, right? So, I had to dig deep, really, really deep. And when I was digging deep, I found a matchup with this guy. Let me pull up his name because I don't pay attention to him very much. His name was Clay Collard. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's the first time I seen him. But what he did do that's kind of similar to Khabib is he put really, really heavy pressure on Max Halloway. And everyone knows Khabib has really heavy pressure. He keeps going forward. He's going to try to get you to miss so he can take you down and hug you and squeeze you and ground and pound you till basically you give up, right? So I will say Clay Gillard was keeping a really, really heavy pressure. I mean, Max Holloway, usually when you see him, he's the pressure fighter. He's the one putting the pressure on people, right? On this fight, he knew that this guy was not technical. He was just coming in swinging. I mean, this guy, he's literally like one step above a street fighter. But what he did do is put a lot of pressure on Max Holloway. I mean, he did not let him go. So what I noticed on that fight was Max Holloway was staying on the outside, doing what you need to do when you're facing a wrestler. You know, anytime he backs up against the fence, you know, he'd throw some hands, duck, and get out. You know, get that head movement, circle out. You don't want to get against the cage against a wrestler, right? He did pretty good at staying light on his feet. So, I mean, that was the only fight that I could see where I had some similarities with how Khabib fights, right? I know it's kind of hard to tell. It really is hard to tell. I will tell you, though, that Max Holloway is not a joke, okay? I mean, this guy, I mean, he's like your aunt's pissed off cat, right? You know, he looks unassuming, the skinny guy. You don't think he's that dangerous. But Max Holloway, second you get into his range, he's gonna slap you. He's gonna he's gonna get you like that pissed off cat at your aunt's house, you know? You just stay the fuck away from him because he's gonna get your ass if you get next to him, right? So I think he has a pretty good chance. I mean, everyone that says he's an underdog, yeah, he is an underdog because, I mean, what? 6 days notice, cutting this much weight, going against Khabib Nurmagomedov, the most dominant wrestler we know, and I can't really see anyone that he's fought that is a wrestler. So, statistically, yes, he is a big, big underdog. I mean, if I were to put my money on it, I would go with Khabib. I would go with Khabib all day. But I want to let you guys know that Max Holloway is not going to be completely helpless. Don't count my dude Maxie Blessed out, because it's the blessed era, baby. I mean, you never know what happens. I mean, look at Michael Bisping stepping in to fight Luke Rockhold after losing to Luke Rockhold, actually getting a knockout in the first round. So anything that can happen. So I'm going to finish up on the Max Holloway thing. Basically, what I want to say is he is not that big. He's not big of an underdog. He is not as helpless as everyone thinks. But is he in for a tough ride? Well, you bet your ass he is. He's gonna have to go to war. But like I said, how he has never fought anyone like Khabib. Khabib has never fought anyone like Max. I mean, I'll get into it more when I get into Khabib's matchups, but he has never fought a striker as quick, as fast as Max Holloway. So, I mean, to me, it's an interesting matchup. I probably will pick a lineup with Khabib Nurmagomedov, but Zabit Sharapov, what's that? Zabit. Oh, I got my notes right here. I'm probably gonna edit this out. I might just leave it so you guys can laugh at me. Zabit Magomed Sharapov. Okay, like I said, he's one of the guys. He costs a lot in the salary, so I honestly think that guy is for sure gonna win. You'll see in my breakdown, but he's expensive, so I might pick Max Holloway, and I don't think it's a completely horrible pick, right? So we'll see. I'll have to break it down some more, and you guys will find out. Let's get down to the Khabib Nurmagomedov. I might cut this out too. You know, I'm just rambling here, guys. I'm just rambling. It's my first time doing that, so we'll see. You might not like what I'm saying. You might think I'm a jackass. We'll see. We'll see. But we'll get to Khabib now. Okay. Khabib Nurmagomedov, however you pronounce it, don't matter. He is the Eagle, and like Joe Rogan said, he's a bad motherfucker. And this is no exaggeration. I mean, he literally comes into every fight. Everyone knows exactly what he's going to do, and he does exactly that. So, I mean, at this point, you can pretty much assume that no matter what amount of preparation most of these fighters are going to do, they're not ready for this level of wrestling, right? So we're not going to look for Max Holloway. Is his wrestling as good as Khabib's? No. We have to find out things that he does better, things that Khabib does worse, find out things that can kind of make a connection. And honestly, it's funny looking at this matchup because you look at these guys' past fights, and So for the same thing, you could say Max Holloway hasn't really fought a wrestler, right? Well, like I said in before, Khabib has never fought a guy like Max Holloway. I mean, you're looking at his last fights. Let's break down the last fights before I tell you that all this stuff, right? Okay, so let's go down the line. Of course, we all seen the mauling of Edson Barbosa, right? Edson Barbosa is a really, really strong stand-up fighter. We know he's got the Muay Thai, those quick leg kicks. He's got decent hands, spinning heel hooks, all amazing, right? But if we break it down, really, Edson Barbosa stylistically does horrible against wrestlers. I mean, anyone who has a predominantly kicking game usually is a bad matchup against a wrestler, especially like Edson Barbosa. He likes to throw those leg kicks. Well, one thing that opens up takedowns is leg kicks, body kicks. They usually, a good wrestler can time a kick and take you down, right? So then we got an Edson Barbosa that basically has to tune down half of his game or a majority of his game, right? I mean, when you think Edson Barbosa, you think this bastard is going to kick me as hard as he can in my shin, everything, right? So, I mean, if anyone heard the press conference today, Khabib said that, oh, I fought a good striker like Edson Barbosa. Yes, I think Edson Barbosa is one of the better strikers in the lightweight division. But do I think he's the same striker as Max Holloway? No. I mean, Max Holloway, I mean, it's kind of hard to define him. He's more of a MMA fighter with a good boxing background, right? Not even like a technical boxing. I don't know how to describe Max Holloway because he is a hybrid type fighter. But we all know he has those hands. He mixes in kicks here and there, but predominantly he uses these guys right here. He likes a good little 1-2. I mean, he keeps it down the middle, nothing too fancy, but it works. It's devastating. His speed, his accuracy, his timing. It's really good. I mean, Edson Barbosa doesn't have that accuracy that Max Holloway does. Neither does he have the quickness, light on his toes. I mean, Edson Barbosa actually plants his feet a lot, especially when he's throwing those kicks. When you're throwing those Muay Thai kicks, you have to plant your front foot to get that torque into it, right? So, I mean, I don't think that's enough to say, oh, Khabib beat Edson Barbosa and he's going to destroy Max Holloway. I don't necessarily think that. I think they're two completely different fighters, and this is why lots of people try to do the MMA math, you know. When I was breaking down the Tony Ferguson and Khabib, there was lots of fights where they had similar opponents. One finished one faster, one took it to a decision, and you know, people want to say, oh yeah, Tony did this faster than Khabib, or Khabib fucking dominated Edson Barbosa more than Tony did, right? But that's MMA math. Those different stylistic matchups. So we're not going to say that Edson Barbosa is the most dominant striker and then that Khabib destroyed him, and now that he did that, Max Holloway has no chance. No way in hell. Max Holloway is completely different. And one thing I would like to say about that is Max Halloway, like I said, he throws in the kicks here and there. Yeah, he does, just to mix it up. But like I said, predominantly he uses these hands. And what's good about that is he doesn't have the chance to get taken down like Edson Barbosa. And on top of that, he's not limiting his game plan how he usually fights. No, Max Holloway is going to be fighting like he normally does. And like I said, he's like that pissed off kid at your aunt's house. Khabib wants to get close. He has to get past these long arms that Max Holloway has. Max Holloway don't play. You get in Bless's face, he's gonna sock you. But like I said, in the Clay Gillard fight, Gillard, you know, the Clay guy that I was talking about, there was a couple exchanges where Max Holloway was staying on the outside, and Gillard would miss a shot and grapple with Max Holloway. So, I mean, if those exchanges happen when Max Holloway wants to sit there, bite his mouthpiece, and try to swing at Khabib, I don't think that's going to benefit him. I don't. I mean, there's a chance he can catch Khabib for sure when he does that. But I think his best chance is to stay on the outside. He's got to do 1-2s, get out. Not doing too many crazy combos, right? Let's see what else we got right here. But the main thing I want to say about the Edson Barbosa is, don't think just because he beat Edson Barbosa that he can beat any striker. Max Holloway is completely different. He doesn't do as many kicks. A striker with hands is a lot better defense for a wrestler. Lots of wrestlers have trouble with these guys. Because when you're staying with the flat base and you're just picking apart, especially guys that aren't throwing wide hooks like Max Halloway likes to keep it in tight. When you keep it in tight, you're keeping your base and your balance solid. When you're throwing those hooks, that's when you throw yourself off balance, and that's when people can do a quick power double on you, right? The old school UFC 90s power double, when guys were just throwing hooks all roided out and just getting taken down by a wrestler, right? This will completely different. Max Halloway keeps it nice and tight, and I think that's going to benefit him. I really do. To that point, let's look at the next fighter that he fought. Michael Johnson. He got a submission in the 3rd round against Michael Johnson by Kimura. And if you remember that one, like basically almost every breakdown of Khabib fight is going to be him taking them down, mauling them, as people like to say, which is pretty accurate. He does maul people. He takes you down. He beats you up. Like I said, I'm going to go down the line, and you see most of these fighters that he fought, he beat them mentally. I mean, they had a chance to fight. I mean, not saying they were going to get up, but mentally, they were gone. They were done. They didn't want to fight anymore. They wanted a way out, most of these guys. I mean, Edson Barbosa, you've seen his face. He wanted none of it. None of it. He wanted to get out of there. I mean, I'm not taking away from him. He still threw the spinning back kicks at the end. He was trying to finish it. But you could tell in his face, he was just like, damn, this guy is on another freaking level. I said freaking. I wanted to say fuck. I don't know if I'm going to get monetized on this. I probably won't because it's my first video. But, you know, I'm just rambling right here. But anyway, Michael Johnson. He took out Michael Johnson, pretty much mauled him. Everyone wants to talk about that one punch that Michael Johnson landed. And he did catch him pretty good. He got him with like a good 1-2. There were hooks. Nice hooks. But what happened after those hooks? Instantly, Khabib took him down and had his way with him. And after that, he broke his will, and there was no chance of him coming back. I mean, Michael Johnson, after that one punch that he landed, and like I said, he was throwing those hooks. He was trying to come outside, trying to knock out Khabib. Like I said, you throw yourself off balance, you get taken down. He cracked him, then he went for the finish, got off balance, got too crazy, bam, Khabib takes him down, boom, now you're screwed, right? You're not getting off because you got this little baby, this baby Russian bear trying to smother you. So Michael Johnson, another fight that's not really like Max Halloway. I mean, Michael Johnson does have a pretty good wrestling game, but we didn't get to see. Obviously, that was nullified because there are levels to this shit. So, I mean, if you're going to try to come with a wrestling game against Khabib, you're going to lose. You're just going to lose, son. You got to come with a different game, something different. And this is honestly why I wanted to tell you guys that Tony Ferguson was going to be the big upset and get the submission, because I felt like Tony Ferguson had some really good tools to counteract Khabib. And I'm not saying Max Halloway doesn't have those tools, but he doesn't have that X factor, you know, that what is he going to do next? I mean, I've seen fights with Tony Ferguson, people are trying to take him down, and he's doing front flips or action rolls just to get out of a takedown, you know, constantly throwing attacks. I mean, I don't think that Max Halloway is going to sit there on his back. Obviously not. Max Halloway is going to be quick. But the question is, can he get this big son of a bitch Khabib? I mean, Michael Johnson even said after the fight, he said that Khabib felt heavier and stronger than he thought. So, I mean, and this is not just Michael Johnson. Everybody's like, has fought Khabib, has said that he's a lot stronger than he looks, right? Let's go down the line. Daryl Horcher, same thing. He just takes people down. I mean, like I said, all these fights, I'm not going to get in too depth because I'm going to be explaining the same thing. Khabib takes them down. He beats them, ground and pounds them, you know. That's the same thing. Daryl Horcher, he did the same thing. Rafael dos Anjos, I mean, we know the level of Rafael dos Anjos. I mean, this was before his title run, before he became champion. But when he beat Rafael dos Anjos, he beat him decisively. And we all know the powerhouse, the pressure, the strength, the top game that Rafael dos Anjos does, even with his submission game, right? And he completely destroyed him. Same thing with Pat Healy. I mean, I don't even want to get too much of. Look, Khabib is going to take you down. He's going to crush your skull. This is what he's going to do. Now, what can I say about this fight? what are notable fights right here? I think I have a tab right here. Hold up, my dog's growling. I gotta tell her. Shadow, quiet. Lay down, quiet. I'm not being mean to my dog, but she's messing up my video. All right, hold up. I gotta shut her up. Hold up. All right, we're back. My damn dog was barking, messing up my videos. Look at her. What are you doing, Shadow? Good girls. I love you. Anyway, back to the breakdown. So as I was saying, Max Halloway is not as helpless as everyone thinks. I think he has a really good chance. Now, am I going to pick him? Probably not. I'm probably going to go with a Khabib pick. I will tell you that I do have Max Halloway in one of my lineups because I wanted him to fit with the salary, and I don't think he's completely helpless. I think he does have that one chance. And I'm probably going to make a video on this later about going for home run picks. I mean, you got to decide how you want to pick it. Do you want to pick a fight that you're going to stay in the money, make your money back, consistently make a decent amount of money because you're taking safe picks? Or do you want to go for it and try to make that top money, try to get that first place? It's all up to you. I mean, I'll make a video explaining those later on. But anyway, I'm going to pick Khabib Nurmagomedov. Just keep in mind that $9,100 is going to take up a good portion of your salary cap. To me, I kind of tend to pick fighters that are more in, the 8,000 range. I like to pick fighters that aren't going to completely kill my lineup. Because when you pick those big favorites, you have to pick a big underdog. And usually the big underdog is an underdog for a reason. I mean, if they put out these bets from Vegas, they have people that probably know more than me, right? But sometimes they're wrong. So I might have a Max Halloway pick. We'll see. But that concludes it. I think Khabib really is going to take it. I mean, Max Halloway, he hasn't fought a wrestler like that. He's coming on 6 days' notice. He's cutting a lot of weight. He hasn't fought anyone at 155. So now you got guys that are cutting down from, 170 down to 155. I mean, most people stay within a 15, 20-pound range and cut down. So he's going to be facing bigger guys, at least not taller than him, but bigger body structure. I mean, if you look at Khabib, he's a little Russian tank. He's ready for war. He's ready. I mean, and Max Holloway's the Hawaiian scrapper. So I'm really excited about this fight. I really don't have a favorite. I mean, if Max Halloway does win, can you even think about it? The second only two-division champ at the same time or simultaneously, however they want to say it, holding two belts at the same time. The second person to do it, the only other person to do it would be Conor McGregor. And in winning this lightweight belt, he would have a chance to challenge the only other guy that's done it. I mean, Dana White's got a freaking boner right now in his office. He's hoping that Max Holloway wins. I mean, and even if he doesn't, he's got Khabib Nurmagomedov, the Russian star, and then he can go get all the Russians, Vladimir Putin sitting front row. I mean, it's a win freaking win for the UFC. It's a win freaking win for us. I think it's going to be a good fight. That concludes my video. If you guys like the video, you can go ahead, give a like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell thing because I will be updating. Sometimes, fights get canceled after weigh-in, so I might have to do a last-minute video, and you need to know who's a replacement fighter if someone's out. So put that bell so you can get an update on it. I will probably do another upload the day of the fight that morning just to make sure that everyone makes it to the fight. Anything else? Questions, comments? If you got your prediction, you think I'm a jackass and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, comment it. I'll address them later. I'll talk to you guys. I mean, I'm all for the conversation. So go ahead. Tell me I suck. Tell me I'm good. Tell me whatever's what I can work on. Leave a comment. Let's do it. I am the Fantasy MMA guy, and I'll catch you later. Peace. We'll work on that outro, something. I got some music right here or something. But yeah, peace.